What fact sounds legit but is actually fake? The first video ever uploaded to YouTube had to be taken down in 2016 for violating their terms of service. I'd believe the shit out of this one. If you tell me, I won't get mad. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. They're also mad. If you like Pornhub, you'll love Pornhub Live. Hey, you, don't you fucking dare skip this ad. That popping, crunching joints on your hands will give you arthritis. It's not true. I read that it's not your muscle bone cracking, but just air escaping. It's the synovial fluid being moved around the joint and displacing gas bubbles. Which is why you can't pop the same knuckle twice in a row very easily. You have to wait for the gas to move back into the joint to be able to displace it again. Always wait 24 hours before reporting a missing person. This can actually be quite dangerous. Definitely don't wait a whole weekend. Shout out to our abducted in plain sight. Hair grows back stronger after being razored off. I was told this for so long. A 12-year-old has the sense to see that the stubble that occurs after shaving just feels and looks more coarse because of the blunt ends. And I was taught this by every female role model like it was the gospel truth. Your eyes don't grow. This is fake. They do actually grow, but they grow very slowly. Like really slowly. Edit. Found this out from my eye doctor or whatever you call them. Apparently not wearing your glasses won't make your eyes worse, and wearing them also won't make your eyes better. By the time Grandpa turned 90, he had eyes in the back of his head. Blanks are harmless. Just ask John Eric Hexumus. Wait, you can't, he's dead. Or Brandon Lee. If a baby bird falls out of a tree, touching it will make it smell human and cause the mom to abandon it. Not true. I've heard this is the same for a few animals like rabbits. Is it a false statement for all animals? Asterisk edit. Wow. Thank you all for clarifying. I've learned a lot about animals today. Stay away from baby rodents. The problem is that some birds and most rabbits just aren't the parents. It might not be because of smell or any one thing, but doesn't take a whole lot to spook a mother rabbit or bird away from their nest long enough to kill the babies. It's a quantity versus quality issue. Carbon monoxide is heavier than air, so put your detectors close to the floor. The first people to die of CO poisoning are the ones lying down. Reality. CO is about the same density as air. In fact, it is actually slightly lighter than air. So it doesn't matter where you put your detectors. This myth likely started because CO fatalities are most likely to occur while people are sleeping, because they are not aware of the symptoms of poisoning, i.e. dizziness, nausea, etc., versus those who are awake. Also might come from animals being affected first, or little kids. It's not actually because they're closer to the ground. It's because they're smaller. Should be obvious, but might feed the myth. Till keep small kids around as CO detectors. If you tell me the truth, you won't get in trouble. A cop to 16-year-old me. Cops do this tactic to a lot of people. Or the classic just write an apology letter. Suddenly they have a written confession. NASA spent millions of dollars on a pen that could work in space, while the Russians just used a pencil. They didn't spend the money developing the pen. Fisher did, and then approached NASA. Also, they wanted a pen instead of a pencil so there was less chance of graphite breaking off and getting into the electronics. What if they used a crayon? Ah, I see, you want to become a space marine, huh? No, these crayons are for writing, not for eating. Myth. 3 Americans every year die from rabies. Fact. 4 Americans every year die from rabies. We only use 10% of our brains. I know people in this forum that use ~s far less than that. Hey, don't drag me into this. Oh, sorry, didn't think you were able to understand the whole sentence. Greater than did thought ICU has the dum-dum to friend. We only use 1/3 of our traffic lights. Edit. I know. Thanks for the gold. Edits are a dime a dozen. I just wanted to say that while I really appreciate the gilding, if you want to give me gold, please consider giving the money to charity instead. They need it more than I do. Still, thank you. Less than 3. That your blood is blue when there is no oxygen in it. I think it is darker when it has no oxygen, but not blue. Edit typo. Coconuts have hair and produce milk, therefore coconuts are mammals. So are they birds. It could explain their migration habits. Are you suggesting coconuts migrate? Not at all. They could be carried. Roman people would use bird poop to dye their hair. True. The birds used to produce the poop were actually somewhat expensive to keep. It wasn't just random chickens. It got so popular that opportunistic people would mix together things that looked like the bird poop to sell, and ended up using fats for texture and consistency, and lye for color. This counterfeit poop ended up being more popular in the long run thanks to its cleaning effects. Hence, shampoo. Shampoo for my real friends and real poo for my sham friends. Shampack. Sham wow. You eat 8 spiders per year while sleeping or whatever. Average person eats 8 spiders a year. Factoid actually just statistical error. Average person eats 0 spiders per year. Spiders Georg, who lives in cave and eats over 10,000 each day, is an outlier and should not have been counted. For one person to single-handedly bring the average up by 8, they would need to eat 165 million spiders a day. That is 1910 spiders a second, with no breaks. This statistic is quite old. There were fewer people in his time. Well, time to get to work. Caffeine can stunt your growth. Caffeine doesn't stunt your growth. It's been scientifically proven that an average dose of caffeine has no effect on your height. Caffeine does not affect growth hormones unless it is in absurd amounts. Like 35 cups of straight caffeine. Not 2 cups of coffee in a Mountain Dew. Edit. Fucking hell, this blew up. Also, I don't have citations, but I did a school project on this topic. Thanks for the award. 35 cups of caffeine would affect your growth by killing you. Exactly. It's hard to grow when you're dead. Lightning never strikes twice in the same place. As disproven by skyscrapers. Black holes suck in everything. If a black hole of the same mass replaced our sun, we'd still go around it as if nothing happened. Well, we'd all be frozen to death. But let's ignore that. Worth noting that a black hole the same mass as the sun would be about the diameter of a not especially large town. About 4 miles. A black hole the same diameter as the sun in the same place. Yeah, then we might get some sucky. Finally, the US $2 bill is no longer printed for circulation and as such has been hoarded by collectors. Because it's been hoarded, it's extremely valuable. $2 bills are still being printed, though none will be printed in 2020 because there is enough supply of them to meet what little demand there is. Since they are hoarded by collectors, and money collectors are really the only people who want multiple $2 bills, there is almost no extra value in them. Monsieur, basically, anyone who wants $2 bills has a stockpile of them already, and anyone who wants one and doesn't have one can easily get one from a collector or even your local bank. Since no extra value exists in them over their $2 face value, many hoarders are willing to part with a bill or two. They're often given out as change for the ferry tolls around here. Also, you can buy them from the mint for face value. Swallowing the gum will make it stick to the stomach. Why is it bad to swallow gum then? Or is it actually okay? My most embarrassing life story involves me getting a gumball machine for Christmas when I was 6 or 7, and essentially eating the entire machine worth of gumballs in a single day, leading to a rock-hard, ass-busting solid gum turd that scarred me emotionally for years. Swallow that one piece and live your best life, oh y'all. Edit. Thanks for the platinum for sharing my childhood cautionary tale. I feel so redeemed after 30 years of shame, haha. If you touch your penis you will grow hair on your palms. My grandmother used to tell me that. My palms aren't hairy and I jerk off all the time. Jacking off makes your palms hairy is a great thing to say in a room full of teenage dudes. They all always look. Is that why she had a hairy face? Or elsewhere? I certainly do not have a fur tube. Thank you very much. Grandma, shush now. On the U.S. interstate system, it was designed so that at least 1 mile in every 5 miles was straight, so that it could be used as a runway by the military in case of war. This was done to appease certain politicians that opposed the massive spending on the interstate project. It's almost like a straight line is the easiest, most efficient path from point A to point B. If the Earth moved just 10 inches, then we would all be dead. Plus, our orbit isn't a perfect circle. 92% of people will believe the statistic if you use a high enough percentage. And the other 8% will believe it if the percentage isn't exactly 100%. There's hot singles in my area who want to meet me. Edit. Thanks for the silver internet, stranger. Standing too close to the TV screen can damage your eyes. That's not true at all. Puts on VR headset. They told us not to sit too close to the TV, so we strapped the TV directly to our faces. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Not true. To miss is to have taken a shot. If I never shoot, I never miss. A young Jedi named Darth Vader, who was a pupil of mine until he turned to evil, helped the Empire hunt down and destroy the Jedi Knights. He betrayed and murdered your father. Well, yeah, no, from a certain point of view, you go into shock and die before hitting the ground when free-falling. This is to protect your brain while losing control of your extremities. This is false. Who would believe this? So many logic holes. At what distance? Why doesn't every skydiver die? Or cliff diver? There are plenty of people who have gone into free fall and not died even after hitting the ground from various heights. The parachutes also restart your heart. Greater than, that the Earth is round. It's actually an oblate spheroid. Surprise, this comment is an hour old and no one has called your mom an oblate spheroid. Your mom is an oblate spheroid. Not a fact. However, sweating like a pig is a phrase often used. And seldom do pigs sweat. They're always rolling around in the mud to keep cool. Actually, pigs are incapable of sweating. They must roll around in the mud or find some other way to cool themselves or they'll have heat stroke. You can, however, fart like a racehorse. Krusty Krab isn't unfair, so Mr. Krabs isn't in there. Not standing at the concession? Not plotting his oppression? What does that even mean? Hey, I don't know. Squidward just told me to say it. Charging your phone too often will shorten its battery life. Actually, the opposite is true. It used to be true because of old NiCad battery tech. Battery memory. The wisdom propagated into lies with the advent of lithium-ion. Eating carrots improves your eyesight. Radar is better. I remember when I was 10 I ate a carrot every single time before I sit behind the computer to play video games, thinking that my eyesight won't be damaged as long as I ate carrots before playing video games. Masturbation causes blindness. Experiment conducted by Daly for 40 years. Hypothesis disproven. Claps with hairy palms. Melania Trump is the only first lady to speak English as a second language. Driving with a dome interior light on is illegal. Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. That doesn't sound legit at all. Any hacking is illegal. In some cases, like stealing money and shit is illegal. But hacking a game or helping people fix security is nowhere near illegal. The statement is inherently false. Removed. Hold up. My girlfriend goes to another school. The vagina of a tuna fish smells like a woman. Go on. I mean, I don't think this necessarily is viewed as true by anyone anymore. But there was that whole thing about people swallow 5 spiders a year on average in their sleep. That many people did go around spouting as fact maybe 10 plus years ago. It was made up by a group of people testing to see how far they could spread misinformation. Turns out the answer is pretty far. The second paragraph also happens to be false actually. Eating sugar makes you hyper. Happiness makes my kids hyper, sugar being the #1 cause of happiness. Well, it does make me hyperglycemic. I have diabetes. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.